What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Shingy. As usual, you already know what it is. I am not so excited to be making this video because I believe this is a video that does not need to be made, and it's a helpful video, and it's just things that don't need to be happening in our time and all that type of stuff. So I'm going to try to keep this as uncut as possible so it's really authentic and it's true and real. So guys, as you guys know, there's a lot of crazy stuff that is happening in the world, and there's a lot of sad events that have happened that should not have happened, and I just wanted to share my piece. That's why I haven't really been uploading, because I don't really feel like uploading. I don't feel good. I don't feel good uploading videos about, you know, just talking about cameras and stuff, because there's bigger issues at hand which are happening in the world. So with everything that is happening with, you know, the police brutality and just touching on all these racism talks and everything just kind of came up, I just wanted to share with you guys my experiences, because a lot of my friends have stressed to me that it's very important that I share my experiences to other people that do not understand, or that are not of the same race, that might not see it or know of it or all that type of stuff. So I'm here to share with you guys my experience as a black photographer, just primarily as a black photographer, as well as on YouTube. Not as much, but you know, on YouTube as well. There's discrimination everywhere if you're a black artist or a black person. So it's quite sad, but it is my reality, and it's always been my reality. And the unfortunate part of it is that I got used to it, and all my other people have gotten used to it. But what is it like being a black photographer? So what it's like being a black photographer, which is really hard. This is gonna be a very hard video to do. This is gonna be a very hard video to do. But being a black photographer is having your friend book your studio for you, because you're probably going to get rejected based off of the color of your skin, and their fears that I might be a thief, I might be unprofessional, I might vandalize things, I might host a party. That's what it means. But having your Asian friend or your white friend, quote unquote, book the studio for you, because you're unable to book it yourself because there is discrimination. Another thing is, when you do end up getting to the studio and finishing your project, not even finishing your project, getting to the studio, and then they realize that, you know, it's your studio and you all are working together, it just means they're gonna be constantly coming into the session, checking in and making sure that you're okay. Checking in and making sure you're okay, and all that great stuff, really. And that was sarcasm for people that don't understand sarcasm. Yeah, just constantly being washed over so that everything is okay. No matter how well you know the equipment, there's still that fear that we might steal. And I work with black crews, right? So yeah. Another thing is, being a black photographer is, when you're leaving the studio, you got to make sure everything is out in the open and they're able to see, and you know, you're conscious, right? You're conscious of how people feel about you and all that type of stuff. So you make sure everything is out there, and you make sure you talk to everybody, and you just make sure you say certain things to make them feel comfortable that you didn't steal anything. Or telling your whole crew, don't touch this, don't touch that, which is something that we had paid for, but we just cannot express ourselves as much as we could if we were a different color. And this is true because I've actually, there's two examples where my other friend as a photographer, I came to one of his sessions, but I was the only black person there, and the way they acted was totally different from how they act when I have booked the studio. No care whatsoever, very open, very willing, and all that type of stuff. So that's just booking studios. There's a lot of other things, guys, but it's just very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate that, you know, things have to be this way. And what's unfortunate about it is that it's my reality, and I've gotten used to it. I've understood it, you know. Yeah, that's why I own my own studio, because I'm a very big activist. Like I'm a very big person when it comes to discrimination. I'm not gonna just stand there and let you bully me or have your opinion of me. So yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad. And even gigs, it's very tough. Like, my white competitors will always have the gigs first, because again, I could be a thief. I could be very unprofessional. Could be very unpredictable. All those things that you hear that sound crazy to you, but you're like, there's no way that is a thing. You know, like I've lost out gigs, and my buddy that is just as equally as good as me has gotten, but he didn't even request them or anything like that. I've had a couple gigs like that. And just even looking through the whole culture and the whole photography industry itself, how many black people have you heard that have won awards for photography? How many do you know that are doing incredibly amazing work on a big platform? How many do you know? It's probably going to be a handful, but compared to the other races, primarily white races, they are running everything. They're like running the whole thing, and this is why it's such a big deal for black people to be achieving certain things. I don't know if you've noticed when we had our first black president, that was a big deal for us. Why was it a big deal? Because we don't really get things. We don't really get high achievements where you're recognized other than music, as well as a bit of acting. But even with the acting, just recently, Oscars, I don't remember, a couple years ago, somebody won for the first time a certain award, and it's just so crazy. It's just so crazy. This is why it's very big, because we don't get recognized. And it's not the fact that we're not good, or it's not the fact that we're not, up to par. It's because you guys know there's a lot of incredible black photographers, and you guys are seeing them now, a lot more of them. But it's simply because we just do not get recognition, as well as, I don't know. That's just pretty much it. There's nothing really more to it. There's a lot of racism in all these cultures. There's a lot of racism, and I don't know. It is what it is, and all that type of stuff. But that's partially, I cannot even tell you guys all the stories of how many scenarios I've been in where race has just been a thing. You get people that feel that they need to show you that they're not racist. You get the people that need to show you that that they see good in you, but they start saying certain things that make them seem racist, which is pretty crazy. So tying it into YouTube, guys, is also, there is discrimination on YouTube that you guys don't even know. That's why a lot of the times I freak out when people dislike my content and it doesn't make sense, and a lot of people try to be like, this doesn't make any sense. It's partially because of that. I've received a lot of comments. I've received a lot of messages that are I know it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe, but it's hard to believe that a cop, put his knee on a guy that was screaming, "I can't breathe. Can you let go of me?" for 10 minutes. And even after he died, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that there was mugshots of a woman that was dead. She was dead, and they took mugshots of her. Like, it's hard to believe all of that. So I could go on forever, man. I could go on forever about the discrimination and the racism and all that type of stuff. But it definitely is there. We just, personally, I don't speak out on it like a lot. And even on YouTube, again, like it's just so crazy. It's all crazy. But I can't talk about certain things because certain people are gonna be triggered or feel like I'm just racist towards them, or I just whatever it could be. A lot of you guys are actually black, which is pretty beautiful. The reason why I started my YouTube channel, guys, is so that I wanted to be the only black person that has risen, not necessarily the only, but that is doing this film photography stuff. And there's a couple of guys that actually came into play, so I'm pretty glad, I'm happy, I'm so positive about that. That's why, if you guys notice, I've kind of slowed down, because that was a very big achievement for me. And it's not to say I'm quitting or I'm no longer driven with that, but like, it just makes it a lot easier on me as a person, because I really want to put on for my culture. It's very big to me. It's very, very big. That's why you notice in all my videos, and the people that I work with, they're all black, because they deserve the opportunities, they deserve the exposure, and that I feel like I'm responsible for all that, and I have the power to. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. There's not really much to this video. Let's just all stay together, guys. This is not, and I want to clarify something, guys, this is not a fight against white people. I really want to say that whenever I speak to all my friends. This is not a fight against white people. This is a fight against racism. So COVID-19, Asians were discriminated against because in Canada, people were discriminating against the Asians because why? Oh, you guys brought COVID-19. Like, what? That makes no sense. They weren't even able to shop in certain places, or they're being discriminated at. People are walking away from them like they are disgusting. It's just so unfair. There's so many things, like Indians, a lot of races, Native Americans, natives, and all that type of stuff. So it's just crazy. It's just all crazy, and it needs to stop, man. It needs to stop. We're all equal. We're all good. So with that being said, guys, stay together. Do not be afraid to educate your friends, and also be happy to share your stories, whether they be positive and negative. Share them, tell them about our culture, how we grew up. Tell them about the discrimination in the system and how it worked. How your grandma was back in the day, she was in the 1950s, she needed to buy a house, and the banks were like, okay, you can't buy in this neighborhood because that's a white neighborhood. You need to buy in this neighborhood, where they packed all the black people, creating the ghetto, because they were like, you can't buy in this neighborhood because that's for white people. And then with that, there's other things that transpire, because now you got to build a school, but property taxes pay for the school. So now you got schools that have low, very small resources, and the teachers are not getting paid enough, which means that their work is not going to be as effective, whatever word you want to use. And there's a lot of background things that a lot of people do not understand or do not know as to why we think this way, or why a lot of black people react, and why there's looting, why there's all these things. And you know what, for everybody that does understand it, kudos for you. And somebody that doesn't and wants to learn, feel free to message me. I'll love to explain it to you and talk about it further. But yeah, just be open to telling people and try to educate people. And also, guys, try to educate yourself and love yourself. And yeah, that's just pretty much it. Love yourself, be good to yourself, love your partner, love your friends, because it also starts with us as a race and us as a people. Loving our women, loving and respecting others, and not discriminating or being ignorant towards others while we're fighting against discrimination ourselves. So that's very, very important. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm always going to be positive. It's not a smiling video, it's not a laughing video, so I'm gonna keep it real and keep it straightforward. But with that being said, I'm just gonna shout out my one handle, which is follow me on Instagram at Shop by Shingy. And if you want to actually contribute to the movement right now, to a charity, I started a couple of shirts with the photos that I've taken. I'm gonna put them on the screen. You guys will be able to see them. Go by. I'm giving away 50%, and I'm also giving away a photo that I taken of my buddy, and I'm gonna give away 100% of that. It's actually over here. It's a 12 by 18. I'm giving this one away. I'm not giving it away, sorry. I'm selling that one. If you really want that photo, you could bid for it, or you could message me privately giving me some numbers. And yeah, so 75% is gonna go to a charity or Black Lives Matter, whichever one it is. And the last 25% is going to go towards the model, because he's just such an incredible person. I'm not really gonna make profit off of that. As well as the clothing, I'm not even gonna make that much profit. I'm gonna make like a fraction, like a couple dollars. And because you gotta create the clothes, and then after that I'm gonna give away 50% of the total, and you know, all that type of stuff. So I'm not really gonna have much. But other than that, guys, thank you guys. Please stay safe. Yeah, deuces.